A young woman and her baby are rescued from a burning ship amidst a fierce storm, with her husband narrowly making it out alive. They set their sights on the distant shore as lightning flashes around them. Meanwhile, deep in the African jungle, a group of gorillas led by the dominant male, Kerchak, is preparing to rest for the night. Kala, a mother gorilla, is with her baby. As the night passes, the human family reaches the land safely. Assessing their situation, they decide to start a new life there. Using materials they salvage from the shipwreck, they build a tree house to shelter them. Back in the jungle, Kala and Kerchak enjoy their time with their baby, unaware of the looming danger. Tragedy strikes one night when Kala and Kerchak's baby gorilla wanders away from the nest. A leopard named Sabor finds the baby and attacks, taking its life. Kala and Kerchak try to save their child, but they're too late. Heartbroken, they have to move on to a new nesting area. The loss deeply affects Kala, and as the clan moves forward, she lingers behind, unable to shake the grief. That's when she hears a baby crying in the distance. Curiosity and motherly instinct drive her to follow the sound. Kala discovers the human family's treehouse, which is in ruins. The sight is grim. A broken window, a shotgun on the floor, and two lifeless bodies smeared with bloody paw prints. Despite the horror, she spots the human baby alive in its crib. Just as she's about to take the baby, Sabor appears again, attacking. Kala narrowly escapes by jumping into a rowboat outside the treehouse, leaving Sabor tangled in ropes. She manages to return to the gorilla clan safely, clutching the human baby. Proud of her discovery, Kala shows the baby to the other female gorillas, who are baffled by the sight of the human child. The confusion soon turns to concern when Kerchak, the clan leader, disapproves of Kala's choice to raise the baby. He argues that the child is not one of their own and cannot be accepted into the group. But Kala, with all the strength of a grieving mother, stands firm. She convinces Kerchak to let her keep the baby, though Kerchak insists the human child must stay away from the rest of the clan. However, no matter what, Kerchak refuses to see the baby as his own. The baby quickly becomes a part of Kala's life, even though the other gorillas remain skeptical. One young gorilla, Turk, takes a liking to the baby and affectionately gives him the name Tarzan, much to Kala's slight dismay. Tarzan grows up quickly, becoming a strong young boy. He loves imitating animal sounds but struggles to keep up with the other gorillas in the clan. Although Turk is always there to protect him, the others tease him for being hairless and don't let him join in their games. Wanting to prove himself to the others, Tarzan takes a dare from Turk and her friends. They challenge him to retrieve an elephant hair from a nearby herd to show his bravery. Determined to earn their respect, Tarzan heads off to complete the risky task. Believing the dare to be real, Tarzan leaps off the cliff and plunges into the water below. He quickly learns to swim and makes his way toward a herd of elephants bathing nearby. In his panic, he grabs onto the tail of a germophobic elephant named Tantu, who mistakes him for a piranha. This causes chaos, and the entire elephant herd stampedes toward the shore, creating a massive commotion. Turk and her friends, caught up in the chaos, are chased back to the gorilla clan's area. Things escalate as Kerchak has to intervene, saving a baby gorilla from getting trampled. Meanwhile, Turk pulls the unconscious Tarzan out of the water and brings him safely to shore. Tantur, still under the impression that Tarzan is a dangerous piranha, tries to drag Turk away. When Tarzan regains consciousness, he proudly holds up a single elephant hair, proof that he completed the dare. Soon after, Kerchak and the rest of the gorilla clan arrive, and Kerchak demands an explanation for the stampede. Tarzan admits his role in the chaos and tries to apologize, but Kerchak is upset and protective of Kala. Despite giving Tarzan another chance, Kerchak tells him that he will never truly be part of the clan. Hurt and frustrated, Tarzan runs away. Feeling lost, Tarzan covers himself in mud, trying to resemble a gorilla, hoping to fit in. Kala finds him in his despair and gently reminds him that they are more alike than different. She points out that they share the same hands, eyes, and heart, filling Tarzan with a renewed sense of belonging. Determined to prove himself, Tarzan promises to become the best ape he can be. As he grows older, Tarzan learns from the various animals around him, taking inspiration from their movements and strength. He even creates his first spear after watching a rhino scrape its horn against a tree. Over time, Tarzan grows into a strong and agile adult. able to navigate the jungle with unmatched speed and grace, swinging through trees faster than the gorilla troop can move. During a playful wrestling match with Turk, their troop is suddenly ambushed by Sabor, the fearsome leopard. Though Kerchak fights to protect the group, Sabor is too strong for him. In a moment of courage, Tarzan steps in, armed with his spear, and engages Sabor in a fierce, intense battle. After a long struggle, Tarzan manages to defeat the predator, killing Sabor and presenting the leopard's body to Kerchak. For the first time, Kerchak seems impressed by Tarzan's bravery and strength. But before the moment can develop further, a loud and unfamiliar noise interrupts them, causing the gorillas to flee in fear. Curious, Tarzan decides to investigate the source of the noise. His search leads him to a group of humans, Professor Porter, his daughter Jane, and their guide Clayton. Porter is thrilled to discover evidence of gorillas living in family groups, confirming his research. Jane shares in her father's excitement, while Clayton remains skeptical and sees gorillas as dangerous, savage beasts. As they explore the area, Clayton nearly discovers Tarzan, who manages to stay hidden. Later, Jane wanders away from the group and comes across a baby mandrill baboon. Amused, she sketches the baby in her notebook, but the playful mandrill takes a liking to the drawing and snatches it away, running off with it, leaving Jane to chase after him. Jane manages to retrieve her drawing, but this upsets the baby mandrill, who starts crying and alerts his entire baboon family. Before long, a large troop of baboons is chasing her. Tarzan quickly comes to her aid, using his remarkable agility to navigate the treetops and outmaneuver the angry baboons. He even returns the drawing to the baby, which calms the situation. Tarzan then leads Jane to a peaceful spot high up in the trees. Fascinated, he realizes she is like him, human. He touches her hand and listens to her heartbeat, which makes Jane a bit uncomfortable. Using his ability to mimic sounds, Tarzan manages to communicate with Jane, and they introduce themselves. Tarzan, feeling a connection with her, carries Jane and swings through the trees to her campsite. Along the way, they hear gunfire from Clayton's rifle. Meanwhile, Turk, some gorillas, and Tanta are searching for Tarzan in the jungle. They come across the Porter's campsite and, out of curiosity, begin playing with the items they find, creating a chaotic mess. When Tarzan and Jane arrive, Jane realizes that Tarzan is part of the gorilla family, as he joyfully reunites with Turk. However, the rest of the gorilla group, including a furious Kerchak, arrives at the scene, drawn by the commotion. Kerchak immediately orders the group, including Tarzan, to leave before Porter and Clayton return. Jane tries to explain what happened and shares her dreamy account of meeting Tarzan. Despite Kerchak's warning to avoid humans, Tarzan feels a growing desire to visit the human camp. Frustrated, he asks Kala why she never told him about others like him. Over time, Tarzan learns English from Jane and Porter, gaining insight into the human world. But when they ask him to lead them to the gorillas, Tarzan hesitates. He remembers Kerchak's strong dislike for humans and refuses. Clayton, however, becomes increasingly irritated by Tarzan's reluctance. During one of his visits to the camp, Tarzan notices more men arriving and preparing to board a large steamer docked offshore. Jane tells him that they're returning to England and invites him to come along. But when Tarzan realizes that leaving with them means never coming back to the jungle, he begs Jane to stay with him, but she refuses. Clayton, sensing an opportunity, tells Tarzan that perhaps Jane would stay longer if she saw the gorillas. Wanting her to stay, Tarzan agrees to take them to his family, unaware of Clayton's ulterior motives. To make this happen, Tarzan devises a plan. He asks Turk and Tantor to disguise themselves as humans to distract Kerchak and lure him away from the troop. The plan works, and Tarzan successfully leads the humans to the gorillas. Things take a turn when Turk and Tantor, followed closely by Kerchak, unexpectedly appear. Kerchak freezes when he sees the humans, but quickly becomes enraged when he notices Clayton pointing a gun at one of the gorillas. Kerchak charges at Clayton, but Tarzan intervenes, tackling Kerchak to the ground and holding him back while Jane and the others escape. Tarzan lets go of Kerchak, but the gorilla troop witnesses the whole scene. Heartbroken, Kerchak accuses Tarzan of betraying the family. That night, Tarzan feels lost and uncertain. Kala, sensing his turmoil, leads him to the treehouse where she first found him as a baby. There, Tarzan discovers his real past and learns about his biological parents who had perished. As they talk, Kala reassures him that he should make the choice that will bring him happiness. Deep in thought, Tarzan makes the difficult decision to leave the jungle with Jane and the others. He puts on a suit that once belonged to his father, feeling a mix of emotions. Before departing, Tarzan tells Kala that no matter what happens or where he goes, she will always be his mother, a promise that deeply touches her. The following morning, Tarzan, Jane, Professor Porter, and Clayton board a small boat headed for a large steamer anchored off the shore. However, as soon as they board the ship, Tarzan is ambushed by thugs who force Jane and Porter into the ship's hull. Tarzan tries to escape by climbing a smoke tower, but he struggles to hold on and eventually falls back down. It's revealed that Clayton, who had pretended to be a friendly guide, was actually planning to capture the gorillas and sell them for profit all along. Furious at being betrayed and realizing how naive he had been, Tarzan lets out a loud, angry yell. His cry is heard by Turk and Tantor, who immediately spring into action. Despite Turk's hesitation, Tana plunges into the ocean, determined to help. Together, they reach the steamer, overpower the guards, and free Tarzan, Jane, and Professor Porter. As night falls, a flare lights up the sky, turning it red and signaling the arrival of Clayton and his men at the gorillas' nesting site. The gorillas are caught off guard, and many are quickly captured and caged. Kerchak, the mighty leader of the troop, manages to break free from his restraints, but is soon recaptured by Clayton, who threatens to kill him. Just as Clayton is about to shoot, Tarzan bursts onto the scene with a fierce battle cry. Summoning the jungle animals, Tarzan leads an attack against Clayton and his men. He frees Kerchak, and for a moment, both are surprised and grateful to be fighting side by side. Jane and Porter arrive riding Tantor, adding to the chaos, and even the baboons, led by the baby mandrill, join the fray. Tarzan and Jane work together to free Kala from her cage. But in the process, Tarzan is shot in the arm by Clayton. Enraged, Kerchak charges at Clayton, but he is fatally wounded in the fight. Tarzan, filled with fury, charges at Clayton. Clayton fires his gun multiple times, forcing Tarzan to retreat and take cover. The two men climb into the treetops and engage in a final, intense battle on the branches. In the heat of the fight, Tarzan manages to wrestle the gun from Clayton. He points it at him but hesitates, refusing to shoot. Clayton mocks Tarzan, daring him to prove his worth by pulling the trigger. But instead of taking the shot, Tarzan imitates the sound of a gunshot, startling Clayton. He then smashes the gun to pieces, declaring that he is not like Clayton. In a final standoff, Clayton pulls out a machete and swings wildly at Tarzan, forcing him to retreat. Tarzan grabs hold of some vines and backs into a tree, but Clayton continues to pursue him. Acting quickly, Tarzan drops a tangled nest of vines on Clayton, trapping him. In a panic, Clayton begins to slash at the vines with his machete, unaware that one is slowly tightening around his neck. Despite Tarzan's efforts to stop him, Clayton cuts the vines they're clinging to, sending them both plummeting towards the ground. While Tarzan safely lands, Clayton is tragically hanged by the vines he sliced through. Tarzan returns to the gorilla troop, only to find Kerchak gravely wounded. As Kerchak lies dying, Tarzan asks for his forgiveness. In a touching moment, Kerchak acknowledges that he was wrong about Tarzan and confesses that he has always been part of the family. With his last words, Kerchak calls Tarzan's son and appoints him as the new leader before passing away. The next morning, Jane and her father prepare to leave the jungle and bid Tarzan farewell. As Jane boards the dinghy, she struggles to say goodbye, and her heartbreak is clear. Sensing her distress, her father encourages her to follow her heart. In an emotional turn, Jane leaps from the boat into Tarzan's arms, and they share a passionate kiss. Professor Porter, too, jumps into the water, cheerfully telling the boat captain to report that they were never found, since many people get lost in the jungle. On the beach, the gorilla family gathers, sharing smiles and laughter. Jane, now fully embracing her new life, communicates in Tarzan's language to the gorillas, letting them know she's staying. The troop celebrates with joy, and the bond between humans and gorillas strengthens. With Jane and Porter happily adjusting to jungle life, Tarzan, their leader, continues to guide the family, and they all live contentedly in harmony. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more. See you in the next one.